Jeremiah was a descendant of a priest. And he was a descendant of a priest, and they dwelled in a religious land called Anathoth. He was in Anathoth, and Anathoth was a place where all these priests lived. In other words, what God told me, they were in a religious setting. But how many of you know it's hard to hear God in a religious setting? That's why God yearns to get you into a relational setting. I think I'm talking to that pew right there where nobody's sitting at. God will sometimes, he has to get us out of familiar territory, out of religious territory, because he knows that we can hear him better in relational territory. That's why I come to church, because I don't need to just hear from the preacher, but when I can talk to my brother and sister, sometimes I can get a bubbling in my spirit just to hear your testimony about how good God has been in your life. Do I have any witnesses in here that can say that just a little talk with my neighbor made everything all right? That's why I want to be in relationship with God, so I can be in right relationship with my brothers and sisters. Come on up. But Jeremiah got to the potter's house, and he saw that the potter was working. Brothers and sisters, anytime you step foot into the house of God, you got to understand that you're sitting next to somebody that's a work in progress. You're sitting next to somebody that God is still working on them. Don't be upset with me. Don't be mad at me, because God is not through with me yet. Do I have anybody in here that has that testimony that God is still working on you? Don't look at me like you all that, because God is still working on you too. Everybody ought to be praising God up in here right now, because we're all a work in progress. I know it's something wrong with me. You ain't got to tell me, Sister Perlina. But I'm glad there's something wrong with me while I'm in somebody who's perfect hands. The worst thing you can do is be vulnerable and have blemishes and just be all messed up and be in the wrong person's hands. And that's why we got so many people messed up in society now, because we know that they were born into iniquity, born into sin, but they've been in the wrong hands. But how many can testify to the fact that when the right hand touches you, it feels like mercy. It feels like grace. It feels like compassion. Somebody ought to give God some praise for the hand of God that's on your life. Not the hand of your daddy, not the hand of your mama, but the hand of God that's on your life. He says he was working on it while it was in his hand.